Hey everybody, it is Lynn here from A Bit of Birdsong, and I wanted to show you a little journal that I made this evening with one of the fun packs. I do have 9 fun packs available. There is going to be a link in the description below this video where you can click to go over to my blog, and there will be a secure link to PayPal if you're interested in one of the fun packs. Let me flip through the journal first. Do you remember the bees that I found not too long ago? I just used a needle and some hemp cord to go right through these to make little charms. I felt so bad putting a needle through these. I had to keep saying, you know, they're not alive, and they're really cool charms. The outside fabric, oh, I need to put my stamp on. I'll take care of that. There's more I want to do to this, but I'm really out of time. It's getting close to dinner time or supper time, whichever you prefer to say, and Jason's going to cook for us. I've got to go in soon. I got to quit on this, but I wanted to show you what I have so far. The outside fabric is an older Mary Englebright fabric. I love the black and just the bright colors on there. This is just a piece of off-white fabric that I stamped with a stamp and then added some paint. Once you get inside, it is very eclectic, as some of my journals tend to be. We've got this little card in the front that says you're the berries and all of these bears. The fabric on the inside is just a really pretty floral. I had a large piece of this fabric and I cut it up into smaller pieces to put into the kits. Some of them have different shapes. I think the fabric had been like made into something and then was just torn apart. So anyway, you all have a piece big enough to make an inside cover. Love the images in this. There's a strip of these vintage stamps. This white paper is from a sketchbook, so it's a nice weight. I love this little sticky note. You can see the frog on the mushroom, and I went ahead and glued it into place. There is some printer paper that's got the flowers, some fun pieces of note paper in this. It says the Bit and Bridle Ranch. And there's a lot of pink paper in this one. You can see there are some dictionary pages that I cut down and taped together to make them into a page that would be 8.5 by 11, so I could fold it and put it into this journal. This is a page from a really old book called Sappho. I think that's the way it's pronounced. And it was interesting. I didn't really know much about that book, but if you want to look it up, S-A-P-H-O, it's about a tart. I mean, a woman who is a little bit on the loose side, and the author is actually dying from syphilis. It's really interesting. I had never read the backstory to that, or I guess I had just never really even paid attention to the book title if I had seen it before. Each pack has a map, and I love map images. That was on a National Geographic map. You can see I just put tape on the outside and on the inside. Oh, I forgot to add it on the inside. I knew that looked a little funny when I opened it. You put tape, whoa, on the inside and on the outside to make a little page that just flips out like that. Gives it more character too. There's a typewritten page. It was part of a syllabus, some sort of vintage thing. And another notepad. This is the Belle Poisson Hotel. Interesting note paper. I started putting tabs in. I sometimes add tabs to every single page to give the book some bulk and just some character. There's an old book page and then some old National Geo pages. These go back to the 40s, so they're older than most. There's a little pocket there. This is from a Durham, North Carolina historic calendar. That is a statue of a sower, to remind people that we have a lot of roots that are agricultural, no pun intended, seriously. Anyway, there was a lot of tobacco in this area and a lot of farms. Looks like I glued some pages together. That's just a pretty piece of paper. It looks like from a gift wrap or a gift bag. And another page from the book Sappho. More of the scrapbook paper and a dictionary page, pink paper. There is another book page. And then this paper is interesting. I think someone had printed this and it's got the heart on it. It has an arrow pointing here that says protection from heartbreak. Kind of morbid, But I folded mine to make pockets, and I do have more from the kit that I want to put into my journal, like some more bills and some more of these library cards. There is another flip out page. There were some really pretty National Geo pages that were agricultural, just really pretty. So each pack has some of those. And each pack has some of this really nice heavy paper. I love it. There is the center page. It's an art piece from Manet. Every kit has some art pages from an art book. Oh yeah, I glued that down. And I glued over the tab. You know, if you don't want to do something like that, you can just glue around. And you know how I tend to roll with junk journals. I treat them like they are, and I tend to be a little bit junky. I do make things that are, you know, themed and special and I guess more coordinated. And I have some projects that I want to get back into to make some journals like that. But I also love just a true junk journal. This is part of the large map page, and I put that in so that it would fold out and we could see all of these pretty images. I think it's fun to look through junk journals that are really junky and full of eclectic pages because you learn things and they're so interesting. This is an image that I sort of fussy cut. I got a little bit sloppy just because I'm running out of time. Another painting by Manet. And then if you open this flip out page, you can see another page from the Sappho book. There's another one of the plant pages from the National Geo. We can stick this in here. You don't always have to stand things this way. You can put them this way. There's more of the little sticky notes. That's a different style. They're just so cute. There's one of the ads from the National Geographic page. One of the pages, we actually know someone who went to Fork Union. 2 people, actually. It's a military academy. So I had to cut that ad out and put it in here. There is a little jewelry bag, vintage jewelry bag that is taped in. More dictionary pages, and again I turned mine so they would be upright, and you can lay 2 side by side and tape them together in a way that you end up with an 8.5 by 11 page, and that way you can read everything. And then there is a book page from the National Geographic, and I just put a strip of glue inside here and put the page in. That's a really easy way to add another page to your journal. It doesn't have to be, you know, just anything goes. The more creative you are, I think the more interesting these things become. There's another page from the Sappho book, and then we've got, I sort of fussy cut some vegetables out of one of the National Geo pages and glued them around. And then I made a flip out page here. You can see there's still a ton of room in here to work and to add just stamps and pastels, all sorts of colors. And there's a lot more stuff in the kit that I haven't used yet. So I'm just tucking things in as we go through. This is what I want to do with all of the dollars. I put a different face in the center, put that in there. You could glue plain paper on the back and have a place to journal on that, which is really fun to do things like that. And here is another larger flip out page that I added. There's a shoe. Oh, I meant to add the quote that goes with that. But like I said, I got to finish up here. I don't even know if I still have it. I'm looking behind me. I might have tossed it back into the recycle bin. There's a pretty envelope there, and I used one of my ink stamps to put that there. There's just some words that I cut out from one of the book pages. There are poetry pages in this kit. There's some of the print from a really fun calendar that I bought, and each kit has a page from that. There's part of a page that was torn out of a spiral notebook. And then these 2 back pages were shorter. I did that on purpose. I might glue in a page here. And let's see, maybe I can show you like what I'm talking about. If I wanted to put this page in, you can just take the glue and put a strip of glue in the length that you need it. Oops, I kind of got sloppy with that one. You can see I got sloppy and it came out to the edges. That's okay. It just means that it's going to be glued in deeper onto the page than what I really wanted. But it's okay. Not a problem at all. And I may stamp something or write something on here. And then you get to the back. There's some really nice stationery here. 2 pages of that. You can see the gold trim at the top and the bottom. And then a little card where I went through and stamped all of these things here. And that's that. I have so much more I want to do to this, but I need to stop for the sake of time and getting inside. Okay, let's look at a fun pack. Each one has the calendar page with the shoe, the calendar page with the bold text. It's got a quote on it. There's the vintage Durham. The calendar itself is not vintage, but it's all vintage images, places in Durham and history of Durham. And then each one has quite a few of these library cards, which are fun to use in your junk journals, and 3 of these small vintage jewelry bags. And you have, I guess, 2 of these. I couldn't remember if I put 1 or 2 in, but these clear envelopes there, glassine, and then several pages of poetry. I think this is Robert Browning. Yeah, it's Robert Browning. So several of those pages, and then you have a few pages from a book that I think was extremely old. I'm wondering if it could even have been 1700s. And I mean, it was a really weird find. I found it in a dollar bin, and it's like a different cover was on the book than what should have been on there, and the pages were falling out. So I don't really know. I just feel like it's very old. But, you know, here it is anyway. It's interesting paper. It's interesting paper. And then we have several of these blank library cards. Those are the card catalog cards. And let's see, did I not pull the one out that I made for in here? Hello? Have I lost my mind? I haven't lost my mind. It wasn't in there. I used stamps to stamp on my little logo and just a pretty image. So those are fun to use. And then there's a large jewelry bag. We have a stack of dictionary pages. I love these dictionaries because they have really pretty images. The pages are going to vary a little bit because I just went through and pulled a stack out of each section of the dictionary. I'm trying to get some things cleared out of here, and I have more supplies than I know what to do with. There's a piece of this fabric, which is a pretty upholstery fabric. And there's a map. All of the maps are different. This one is Peoples of the Soviet Union. There's a little card, just like a little flash card. Couple of pages about vineyards. These are pretty vintage book pages. And then more large dictionary pages. Again, the number might vary a little bit. I pulled stacks out and I tried to get them all the same size. And of course the pages will vary. You have quite a few to work with. Then there's an old book page. All of these are going to be different because it's from a vintage book that had some water damage, and I was able to pull out some pages that were still good. Each pack has 1 piece of this black wallpaper and 1 piece of this. I think I just had an extra piece, so I dropped it in one of the slots. But you'll have a page of each. Each one has a tiny little image from that recent Tim Holtz, the vintage embellishments that I found. Then there are 3 of these little sticky notes with the frogs. You have a page of this crazy heart illustration there. There is a page from the typed syllabus. And then more of the little sticky notes. I think there's 3 here with the frog sitting on the mushroom. And then these vintage pages from the Sappho book. They are really fun. The book had a lot of illustrations, and this book may have been worth some money had it been in good shape, but the cover was gone. I don't want anybody to think that I was, tearing up something that was pristine. It absolutely was not. Pages were missing, the cover was gone, so I just went ahead and took out the illustrations to use those in these kits. And then each one has a stack of this pink paper, which is really nice. I weighed it so that it would be easier to do these packs without counting. And then there's a piece of this really pretty floral fabric. Again, the sizes on these are going to vary a little bit because this piece of fabric had a really odd shape. Again, I think it had been cut to make something. So, but it's enough to do the inside of a journal. And then we have some bills here, fake money that you can play with. And each one has one of these interesting pieces of, well, let's see, I think you have 2 of each. We've got the Contemporary on the square. Then we've got the Bit and Bridal Ranch. We've got the Belle Poisson Hotel. I think I'm saying that right. Then a piece of the sketch paper with the ragged edge. You have a few pieces of this paper with the flowers. Each one has got an envelope with 3 of the velvet leaves. Decided to go ahead and send more of those velvet leaves out. They're really pretty. They're vintage. Each one has a strip of these stickers. One of the bear cards, which is really sweet. And then each one has a few pieces of this really nice heavy paper. It's textured. I was looking to see if it's got any sort of watermark on it. I don't see one, but this is like cardstock. It is cardstock, even maybe a little heavier than most. And then we have vintage pages from a 1940s National Geo with really pretty ads and just pretty pages in general. And then here are some of the agricultural pages that I was talking about. 3 of those. And they're really pretty. Like there's asparagus, and it talks a little bit about the history. Wild thistle, potatoes. Look at the plants up above. The blossoms. It's really pretty to see plants like bloom that are just vegetables, and you think, oh my gosh, I had no idea it was so pretty. Like okra has a really pretty bloom. And then just another pretty page. There is a piece of that wrapping paper or wallpaper, one of the really pretty vintage stationery envelopes, and 2 pieces of that paper that came from a friend of mine that she was getting rid of some things because she retired, and that was on her desk. And then some of the art pages from an art book. I think there's 5 of these. So you can either cut out the images or fold the whole pages. That's really pretty. I love that blue. And then each one has a piece of this Mary Englebright fabric, and they're all the same size. So we have that, and each one has a folder, and then each one has 2 of these bees, which are really cool. I don't see things like that all the time, so I bought quite a few of those. So that is the fun pack, and I have 9 of those available. They are for sale through PayPal, and I will have a link to that. Just click on the link below where it says go here to purchase, and that'll take you to my blog and a secure PayPal link. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back really soon. Definitely planning to have more journals on here, more content. I feel like I'm finally getting back to normal after everything over the summer. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. It means the world. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.